please keep your hands where we can see them. It's just money for my family, wallahi. I don't do nothing wrong.
You're transporting over 500,000 in undeclared currency. We have to see.
I need it for home, please, I beg you.
Ma'am, you're being detained right now. Turn around for me.
Did you know that millions, potentially billions of dollars have passed right through here at TSA in Minneapolis, Minnesota? Yep, for several years, Somalians would come in pairs, 2 men would come in pairs with suitcases full of cash. It would be tagged by TSA agents, but then the TSA agents would send them to a certain room, and then the Somalians were on their way. Once they left this airport, they'd go to the airport in Atlanta, Georgia. From Atlanta, Georgia, they'd go to Dubai. Once they landed in Dubai, they would wire that money to Somalia.
Why would you get caught? You scammed the government. Cool. Why? The Galas are turning on us and they're questioning the legitimacy of all Somali businesses. Now this is a horrible PR.
She's mad because they're giving away the game. She's saying you're scamming. It's so obvious that you're scamming, and you're making us look bad because now they're going to see we're all scamming. But why were you doing this and getting caught? She's not mad at them for scamming. She's mad at them for blowing their cover.
The government-assisted housing in Columbus is occupied by Somalians, and the parking lot is occupied with a whole bunch of brand new cars. And the women walking around have designer purses with EBT cards, and they have Apple iPhones stuck up in their hijabs.
This is all I know. I was only 3 years old when I came, and this is my home, and this has got to stop.
I'm not scared, so I'm citizen. I'm happy. I'm United States. I brought America. I'm happy. So why you asking me? Some guys asking me, give me basmati, give me green card. Why you asking me?
Somali leaders endorsed Donald Trump during the election, and now he wants to deport them.
Somali nationals with TPS are now required to leave the United States by March 17th, 2026. Baby, you heard me right. The Trump administration says that country conditions has improved in Somalia, that it no longer meets the law's requirement for temporary protected status, and so further allowing Somali nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is contrary to our national interests. We are putting Americans first. The U.S. first recognized people from Somalia as being eligible for temporary protected status back in 1991. So there you go, honey. The Trump administration is saying temporary means temporary.
Somalis will be the first one to tell you that they are not black, okay? They don't even consider themselves African. They said we are Arab, okay? Secondly, these people stole from you. Not only did they steal from you, they stole from your children. Got on TikTok and bragged about it, boasted about it, laughed about it. Then went on press conferences with diamonds on talking about fraud is bad. Had a whole kiki about it. Playing in your face, okay?
The reason why we are not supporting you Somalis is because y'all are selfish people, you're ungrateful, you're haters, you're racist, you're tribalistic. Nobody wants to be behind you, and you're so standoffish. And the most important thing, y'all have said you're not Africans. You said you're Somalis. You gravitate more towards Arabic, those Arabic countries. So you've distanced yourself from Africans. That is why we don't support you. Nobody wants to support y'all. Y'all are a problem. You're a big problem. You're thieves, you're liars, you're scammers. You know, nobody trusts you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Alright, Somalians stole from Americans for years, for decades. You know, they carried their fraudulent activities in Minnesota. Now President Trump is saying enough is enough. We gave you TPS status, which is basically temporary protected status, which is temporary, exactly the point. And he has decided to revoke it because according to US survey, Somalia is in good conditions for every Somalian in Minnesota carrying out fraudulent activities to go back home. You know, the problem with these people is that they don't take accountability. Instead of actually coming online and saying, we are sorry, not all Somalians are like that, They actually come online bragging about it and looking down on normal Americans and mocking them about stealing the taxpayers' money. But subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that like button. I really want to hear your opinion about today's episode. Let's take a look at this next video because this shows exactly why, they are used to fraudulent activities and they cannot handle real work. Let's take a look.
I am so miserable. I'm having the hardest time to get out of my bed. And every fucking day, I have to be at the office 5 days a week. I'm exhausted. And I think I'm having a little mini burnout. I don't know what I'm having. I'm just exhausted. I'm dead ass done.
Another day, another fucking Somalia scammer, because these people just can't leave us the fuck alone and get the fuck out of our country. Somalian scammers transported, according to the TSA, in years that had nothing to do with Trump, over $700 million in cash that they themselves claimed through TSA to get it out of the country, primarily moving it to Dubai and other foreign countries. $700 million in 2 years. In 2023, they moved almost $350 million in cash, in suitcases, out of the country. I'm not saying every Somalian is a scammer, but it appears that all of the scammers in Minnesota seem to be fucking Somalian.
So it sounds like we need to get these people out of our country and do it fast. But Ilhan Omar doesn't think the president has the authority to do that.
When the president tweets as if he has the authority to terminate temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota, even little kids in 8th grade know that that is not an authority that the president has and can wield.
Well, it looks like she was wrong again because that is exactly what President Trump is doing.
All right, Todd Lyons is the ICE director and joins us now. Sir, good to have you back on. The president has called to end the temporary protected status of Somalians living in the state of Minnesota. When that does happen, is ICE going to be going into what's called Little Mogadishu there on the southeast side of Minneapolis?
Hey, Rob. Good seeing you again. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so, ICE, obviously, we enforce the laws the way they're written, right? And so if someone's temporary protective status is lifted, which it's happened many times to different various countries and nationalities, but we're ready to take action, and that's what we do, right? When someone's temporary protective status is lifted, they are now illegal aliens. They're here in the country illegally, and we will go ahead and remove those criminal elements out of our neighborhoods.
Now, I imagine Ilhan Omar's getting pretty nervous at this point. Take a listen to how bad the fraud actually was.
Our officers encountered blatant marriage fraud, visa overstays, people claiming to work at businesses that can't be found, forged documents, abuse of the H-1B visa system, abuse of the F-1 visas, and many other discrepancies. Over the course of the operation, our officers found indication of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety and national security concerns in nearly a little less than 50% of the cases.
First Somali ICE agent ever. And these elders right here were not playing. They recognized this guy and they said, "What you're Somali. What you doing working for ICE?" The elders called this guy a Dadan and then he took off running. And the Somali guy got scared. He thought the Habres might recognize him. So he ran back to the SUV to hide.
So they found a Somali ICE agent, which don't surprise me because we've seen black ICE agents, we've seen Hispanic ICE agents. What you don't see is you don't see any white ICE agents hunting down any of the 580,000 undocumented European immigrants in this country. We got over 500,000 undocumented European immigrants, yet I ain't seen a single video, not one, of any white ICE agents terrorizing any of these European neighborhoods. None. Not a single one. I'll give you $10 if you give me one. Show me one video. You won't see it because they know they can't pay white people to hunt down other white people, unlike paying black people to hunt down other black people, unlike paying other Hispanic people to hunt down other Hispanic people, unlike paying Somali people to hunt down other Somali people. You're not a good person.
So apparently, these Somali ICE agents was actually discovered by his own community. He's actually taking the money to go ahead and hunt down his own community. Look at these guys. They can actually do anything for money. You know, leave alone scamming American taxpayers. They can even actually go ahead and hunt down their own community just for the money. Really? Yeah. As the creator was actually saying, these people are not good people. You're not a good person. But let's keep watching.
I'm sorry, but some Somalians need to take accountability for what is happening in Minnesota. I have not seen one Somalian take accountability and say, you know what? It's not all Somalians that are doing this. I'm so sick and tired of some people playing the race card. What is wrong is wrong. If you're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong. Take accountability and responsibility and move on with life. Because at this point, it's not only affecting Somalian people, it's also affecting us as a black community. Now it's like on top of the general stereotype that we have, now it's another stereotype. Like, come on. When are we gonna take accountability? When are we gonna be responsible and be like, you know what? There's a tree, and just because there's like few apples that have gone bad doesn't necessarily make the whole apple tree, have bad apples. But from the outside looking in, everybody's gonna think that they just look at them. They'll all just be stealing money from taxpayers. I'm a taxpayer. I pay tax. I pay my tax. I'm an American. So I'm not liking the fact that some of these money that is supposed to be used to actually help people that need help is going towards people that don't need it. It's going back to Somalia. I'm really trying to understand. I just want one person to come out and be like, you know what, we've taken accountability for that. But it's not all Somalian people that are doing this. There's just some bad apples. And it doesn't mean that it's all of us apples. Please, let's stop playing the race card and actually start taking responsibility and accountability for our actions. Because at this point, it's gonna just be, Somalians people do this. It's not gonna be some Somalians people do this. The earlier we take accountability and stop all of this, the better for all of us as black community. Come on, let's do better. Even some
people who spent years calling America racist are now crying online because they're being sent back to the same country they swore was better than here. Y'all like the video right here, follow for more. And let's get into this one. You see the meltdown videos everywhere, tears, anger, demands, but none of them mention the fraud investigations, the expired visas, the money that moved through criminal networks, or the abuse of programs paid for by the taxpayers. The moment accountability shows up, they all act shocked. I look at these videos and all I see is the same contradiction. Somalia is beautiful when they want moral high ground, but Somalia becomes unsafe the moment removal papers arrive. They switch the story depending on what benefits them. The reactions are emotional because the system finally stopped bending. Deportations are happening because laws exist, because agencies uncovered fraud rings, because certain groups are draining millions from health, housing, and social programs that working Americans rely on. There's nothing complicated here. People act like the West owes everyone a comfortable life, like your job is to give everyone else more than what you could give your own family. And that is not how a country works. You cannot build a healthy society by subsidizing the failure of another one. And while all this is going on, the people who should be rebuilding Somalia, protecting Somalia, and modernizing Somalia are here demanding benefits. Their own country loses the adults who should be leading it. But Americans care about Americans who can't afford homes. They care about the people being pushed out of work by cheap labor. They care about a safe country.
When you wake up and find out your temporary status is gone.
Trump administration is ending the temporary protected status of Somali migrants. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem telling Fox News, temporary means temporary.
Yep, that's the definition.
Country conditions in Somalia have improved to the point that it no longer meets the law's requirement for temporary protected status.
Which means you good, boo. You can go home.
Further, allowing Somali nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is contrary to our national interests. We are putting Americans first.
We got till March 17th to get the heck out, but I love how little mama says, oh, no, 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 no. He doesn't have the power to do that. Well, people think that Trump can't make a call or two before he gets on social media. Yo, I'm just calling to make sure that I can remove this temporary status bullshit real quick before I post this. Yeah? Okay, cool. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, a bill was introduced like a week ago to get these MFs out.
Today, you introduced a bill that would terminate temporary protected status for people from Somalia.
Somalia and also 17 other countries that have people that are here illegally, that have no business being in this country at all, that want to see harm done to my fellow Americans. And what prompted this was the complete derelict of duty that we saw from Governor Walz and what happened in Minnesota. These people, according to my bill, will now have about 180 days to self-deport, and that goes with them and everyone else from the other 17 countries.
Duh. Like, why would you have a law that says you cannot be an illegal immigrant and your punishment is deportation, and then have a law that protects illegal immigrants from deportation? What Democrat wrote this bullshit?
All right, people, there you have it actually. So Somalians actually have until March to self-deport. If they don't do that, they're gonna be denaturalized. Their TPS, status is gonna be revoked by Trump, and then deportation follows. This is exactly what you get when you try to act too smart. When you actually try even to bite the hand that feeds you, because these guys actually came to the United States through temporary protected status. This is exactly what it is. It's temporary. And a lot of them also came through refugee status by seeking asylum. And what happens that you basically have to be able to claim that you cannot be in your own country of origin because of some circumstances that are putting your life in danger. And this is exactly what Somalians were claiming. They were claiming either temporary protected status after coming to the United States by the help of a family member who basically pays for everything, your flight tickets and everything. And then you apply for that once you're in the US. Or they would have to apply for asylum, UN refugee status in a neighboring country. And in most cases, it is in Kenya that they do actually that. Many of these Somalis actually didn't have the means to go to the United States directly. Many of them went to Kenya, where they actually basically apply for refugee status, and then they get asylum to various countries, not just the United States, but the United States is actually the country that takes in the largest number of these refugees. And once they get to the United States, they basically get green cards because of their refugee status and asylum. Now, when you get something that has temporary in its name, is basically temporary, temporary protected status, TPS status is basically that. And Trump is saying enough is enough. We have open doors for you to come into our country instead of working hard, contributing to the economy. You want to carry on your fraudulent activities, daycare, empty daycares, and the rest, man. It's a long thing. It's a long list. Like how we started this episode with the woman trying to carry a lot of cash, from the airport to Dubai and then to Somalia. And this is exactly what happens, because most of these guys actually found out that if you do that by wiring the money directly from the States, it's gonna be tracked. So they opted in carrying suitcases, filled with a lot of cash by using carriers. And this is exactly what is being exposed now. Now, I really don't know, man, because some people are asking the question, did the government not know about this? Did Minnesota government not know about, the empty daycares, or did they just actually keep quiet because, these guys kept on, voting for them, especially during the election campaign? Because I don't think, America is a country that someone or a community can actually do this for decades, you know, basically year after year without being busted. Now they're being busted. Now it's going viral because of a YouTuber. Now, obviously, it's embarrassing to the government. It's embarrassing to the Minnesota government. Yeah, if it wasn't for Nick Shirley, do you think that, yeah, Somali, if it wasn't for Nick Shirley, do you think that the Somali daycare frauds and all these, you know, fraudulent activities that are going on would have been busted? I want actually to hear you, you know, tell me in the comment section. And the problem is that these guys like to brag about it. They like to look down on Americans, calling them lazy. You know, we saw videos of them actually telling Americans to go ahead and go to work so that they work for them, so that they can get their welfare benefits from the taxation of American citizens. How can you actually be this arrogant? You know, this shows you people who have been doing this for years, that they got too comfortable with it. You know, they thought that they were above the law. But again, the orange man doesn't care who you were. Now they have until March to be deported. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about today's episode? Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit that like button. See you in the next episode.